Huiswerk is 'n netelige kwessie wat al jare lank 'n twispunt wêreldwyd is. Veral op laerskool voel sekere kundiges en ouers, huiswerk is 'n euwel en kinders moet toegelaat word om eerder te speel. Finland is die voorlooper wat die uitgangspunt betref. Tog is daar kundiges wat aanvoer huiswerk is onontbeerlik vir 'n kind se akademiese ontwikkeling. Ons gesels vanaand hieroor met Dr Verbra Pfeiffer van die Fakulteit Opvoedkunde aan die Noordwes-Universiteit, Gavin Keller, oudskoolhoof van die Sun Valley Primêre Skool in Kaapstad wat huiswerk afgeskaf het. Hy is ook deesdae 'n konsultant, en Hannes Wessels, 'n opvoedkundige sielkundige hier van Johannesburg. Welkom julle. So, toe ek hoor ons doen hierdie onderwerp, was ek natuurlik baie opgewonde want dis iets waaroor my vriende baie nou praat. Die skool het nou net begin en so aan. Maar toe ek navorsing begin doen, veral van die navorsing wat julle gedoen het, het ek gesien dis 'n baie interessante en ingewikkelde onderwerp. Dis nie so eenvoudig soos ouers wat menings daaroor het nie. Verbra, so ek gaan nou begin met 'n vraag wat doodgewoon is: wat is huiswerk?
Homework is work that learners take home from school because they've got to complete it. It's tasks that needs to be done. It's work that they have to memorize, and work that just sort of helps them to remember what was taught in class and remind them of what they were doing in class. That's what homework would be, what I would define homework as.
Yeah, there are many definitions.
Yes.
Gavin, what is, I mean, if we talk about memorizing, that is just one part of the history of homework. Homework was also something else prior to this century or the previous century.
Yeah, well, in sort of the 1900s, we find that there was no homework. So very few children came to school, and they came to school to the age of 10, grade 5, and then they went to work. And those that went to the grammar schools would have had to recite the day's work, so they went home and they had to recite. And the people around the turn of the century were saying, this is a real waste of time because we need our children to be working at home. And so they did away with it. And it was only in 1957 when the Soviet Union launched the Sputnik did the Americans realize that they were losing the Cold War badly, and that the Russian children were clearly a lot brighter, that we better start getting some extra sort of longer days and some homework going. And so they started. And so we had this ping pong that was going on. We mustn't have homeworks. No. Then we must have homework because. And then we got to the 80s, and then when suddenly the whole pediatric unit was saying, listen, the stress on these children is so bad. We've got to do something. And so the pendulum swung back, and we now in the area when people say, well, what is this all about? And I think that education has to come to the party and make a definitive statement. Is this necessary? Are we scared of the Russians? Is it a learning issue, or is it actually that the Titanic is about to sink in education?
Maar Verbra, jy is nie so teen huiswerk soos Gavin nie, so jy gaan nou vir my 'n ander deel van die geskiedenis vertel waar huiswerk eintlik 'n baie beter soort van opsie was as om die Amerikaners te blameer, wat ons deesdae baie graag doen.
Yes, well, my whole thinking about homework and why I feel it's necessary is because homework is the base, especially for when we start at the primary school level. That's where the learners think to be creative. They think creatively, they think critically, they think, they learn to think independently and work independently. And that's also the place where they learn to take responsibility when they are doing homework. That's where that's my view on homework and why I feel that it's necessary. That's, yeah.
Maar Hannes, jy gaan nou graag iets oor die verantwoordelikheid wil sê, né? Want dit bou selfvertroue.
Ja, so as ek kyk, wat is die doel eintlik van huiswerk van 'n sielkundige perspektief af is, dit is die bemeestering van die vak en die bemeestering van jouself. En wat baie belangrik is, daai bemeestering van jouself is wat wat baie belangrik, ons noem dit die bou van self-efficacy. Ek weet nie wat die Afrikaanse woord vir dit, maar dis selfvertroue in die vak. En meer spesifiek selfvertroue in my vermoë om moeilikhede te oorkom en nog steeds my doelwitte te kan bereik. En ek dink wat baie keer sleg is van huiswerk is, dit het die geleentheid om hierdie gedragsrepertorium te vermeerder, om probleme op te los, maar ongelukkig die meeste van die gevalle verminder die gedragsrepertorium vir baie kinders.
Hoekom?
Stres, dit is basies, kom ons sê byvoorbeeld iemand hou nie van wiskunde nie en hulle dink hulle gaan dryp, so dan begin jy oplossings kry om dalk die huiswerk af te skryf die dag voor die tyd of die oggend voor die
So jy leer slegte gewoontes.
Leer slegte gewoontes en wat gebeur is, as jy daaraan dink, jou gedragsrepertorium skuif dan na 1 of 2 aksies om hierdie probleem op te los. Ek jok vir 'n onderwyser of 'n onderwyseres of ek skryf dit vinnig af, waar jy het eintlik die geleentheid, dit gaan nie eintlik of jy die wiskunde reg of verkeerd kry nie, dit gaan oor, het ek 'n verskeidenheid van vaardighede, interne en eksterne wat ek kan gebruik om hierdie mylpaal nou te oorkom.
Ons gaan na 'n advertensiebreek toe gaan, want hierna gaan ons praat oor huiswerk as straf en ek dink is nog 'n lang onderwerp. Ons gaan net na die advertensies verder gesels.